What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Loki. His name is Kvoth. Game number 5. We're here, and we're ready. We're ready for some excitement. This has been a crazy series. These guys have been at each other's throats the entire time here, keeping everyone on their toes. I'm pretty sure any of these games could have gone either way. So it's great that we get to hit this last matchup here, Loki versus Zeus. I'm a big fan of this matchup. There's a lot of chaos that can happen here. We see Kvoth going for the saving of the home hunt. I'm not going to say too much about this, but generally speaking, if you've got forward hunt in your base as Loki and you decide to save it, you might still have some problems eating that one later. It depends on obviously the Zeus players' decision making and what they want to go for, but life can get pretty tough for you in the early game here as Loki. Generally speaking, I think one thing that most players don't realize is how absurdly good herdables are. Obviously, hunting is faster, but if you don't have hunting dogs and you do have husbandry, the herdables actually gather at the same rate as the elk, or as the hunt. They both gather at about 0.8 something. And then once you get hunting dogs, the hunt goes up to about 1 food a second, right? A little bit over 1 food a second. Obviously, with walking time, it ends up being not so good. And in a practicality, villagers popping out of the town center, jumping straight onto the herdables, that's really good. So you can, if you get enough herdables, which Kvoth is getting here, you can really have a really good game on your hands by just eating those herdables and enjoying it. Now, another thing here to look at to starting off this game is this gold mine might seem like a little bit of an unfortunate gold mine to have against Zeus, but the gold mine is in a great position because you've got this forest here, you've got this forest here, you've got this tower here, you've got this tower here. By all metrics, Loki should be able to defend this one, and I think most players will be pretty happy having this sort of a setup against Zeus because you can just wall in those towers and enjoy it. So this is actually a really good setup here for this matchup, where in reality, I think the Zeus player should not be able to win in like 6 minutes with just the straight Athena rush here. So long as Kvoth is prepared for the Athena rush and knows how to play against it, he should be okay here for the early stages of the game. He's also got the gold mines on both sides of the map here. So the setup here for some real craziness is really coming for us. I'm actually getting more and more excited the more I'm learning about this map, about what's going to happen in this game. Harmonious Necklace here, plus 10% villager gold gather rate. This is a fantastic relic here for Rapl. Oftentimes you're not really struggling for gold, but with the 10% boosted economy on that relic, you can actually go for like 1 or 2 less villagers on gold, put them onto food, put them onto wood, and enjoy just that little bit of a buff to your economy. All right, so villagers popping out over onto this tree here. 4 villagers on wood is about standard. We see 5 dwarves actually on gold for Kvoth. I think he's gone for a later advance time. He does. He's got 7 on food over here. He's walling up this position. He's putting the walls around his tower here to ensure that this is going to be nice and safe. You can also throw down houses and things around this tower as well. But what Kvoth's doing here, and I think this is the big thing with regards to defending yourself and why it's like why this wall segment rule is completely, like, I mean, I don't want to get into it too much, but this wall here is completely legal to defend your tower, defend your position, and you can build as many of these long walls as you want because part of the problem with the wall segments is the pathing issues that they create. So if you've got these long walls, one, the army can take them down and they're going to be able to move around them a little bit easier, but you're also defending yourself, and life is It feels fairer. You put resources into defending yourself. Kvoth is advancing later. He will get pushed off of this hunt by this Jason here. As the villagers are fighting away, just a little bit of damage getting taken there. This is both good for Rapl and Kvoth because, well, Kvoth is going to be able to defend the fight a little bit later with the HP on that Jason being a little bit lower. So we do see the Katoskopos coming in here. Troll moving forward here as well. The Minotaur is in. That's going to be some big damage coming in as the Minotaur does manage to pick up a villager. Kvoth being incredibly greedy here. He loses the villager, and that later advance time there that Kvoth has taken, he is going to be punished for that one over the course of the next couple of minutes, having lost that villager there, plus needing to pull back into his main base here as we do see a bolt there onto the Herso. Villagers moving over onto this hunt over here as Kvoth doesn't want to pull back into his main base just yet. He will be able to take out this Jason though if he really wants to, though he can put a healing spring into his main base, moving back into his main base. This hunt here, is it really safe? Not really. He doesn't quite have watchtowers up just yet, though he is researching that one. At this moment, we see Rapl with the hoplites and the Toxotes going to start moving forward here as all the walls are up. The watchtower is about to be up as well, and pushing in onto this position is going to be quite challenging here for Rapl as the watchtowers finish up. The Minotaur is the big problem. Obviously, if you can focus fire down a unit here, you kind of want to focus fire down that hoplite if you can, or the Jason or something like that, as Rapl going to be pulling back. And the troll hanging in here. Another wall coming up. This is perfect. This is exactly what I mean. You can defend these Athena rushes with wall spammage if you absolutely want to. Like, you're not subjected to just building 8 wall segments. It's really, really good. As the villagers on this position here getting pushed back again, this hunt here not the most safe. He's got the herdables here. Kvoth has the economy here to get himself husbandry. He doesn't have a whole lot of population. Actually, I'm telling you a lie. He's got 50 population at the moment, so he's actually in a decent position. The problem is that he doesn't have the resources to get himself Hall of Thanes just yet. He needs a lot more wood income to get himself that Hall of Thanes to allow these Herso raids to start happening here. As Rapl now swinging around, going to be looking to continue putting the pressure on. The big thing here is that Rapl, he doesn't actually need to get damage done. This is something that I think Zeus players haven't quite learned, is if your opponent goes into this big defensive game plan, you can actually pull back, sit on your hunt, get yourself your own watchtowers, wall this up, and just play a defensive game from here. You don't even need to get the second town center. You can just go heroic age and start going into like an underworld with Hapaspist and hoplites, and you can go for an underworld to pick off the gold mine and play for a longer game here where things get very, very chaotic. As Kvoth finding some hunt over here, going to be getting himself a little bit of favor from this. Every single one of these caribou is worth 0.48 favor. It's well worth it to take these out to build up that favor pool and get some myth unit spawns. As Rapl very smartly just pulling back here. He doesn't need to be on the front. Kvoth has spent a ton of resources defending himself, and Kvoth is defended here, but this just means that Rapl needs to go for the next win condition in this game. And I mean, there's a win condition for the entirety of the game for Zeus, in that he can win the late game, he can win the mid game, he can win the kind of Loki wins the mid game with the flaming weapons, but you can play around flaming weapons with Underworld. So there's always going to be a win condition here for Zeus, regardless. There's now Rapl with 2 town centers as well. Kvoth needs to think about, well, does he go for a town center here? He did get himself Hall of Thanes here, but does he go for a town center? I think grabbing this back town center with this gold mine over here, a nice wall over here, is going to be a great way to play. Or does he just go for the heroic age and try and get a really big flaming weapons here? The villagers in the main base here on those cows. He's also eating berries over here as well. He could push out onto the hunt over there if he really wants to at this point, considering he's got the spy on the arm. He knows what's happening. We do see some good damage coming down onto the archery ranges over here. Rapple's base is really, really well defended. For those Zeus players out there, I recommend you to play like this with Zeus. That's such a beautiful base. Over here, the walls on this position for Rapl defending this position is perfect. Just keeping the villagers as safe as you possibly can. A beautiful Valkyrie spawn here, though. This is where things can change a little bit for Kvoth, because now he can run into Rapl's base a little bit easier, though. Kvoth not controlling this army all too well. Does lose a her, so it gets a little bit of damage done onto the hoplites there, but he's going to have to pull back after all that damage is inflicted. Meanwhile, Katoskopos scouting out on this position. We see the dwarves moving out over here as the gold mine has expired on that position. As it looks to me like Rapl is not building any more units, so he is going for that next age. He's got plenty of cows to do so. Going to be hitting that heroic age, and boom, we see Dionysus here. This is an interesting idea. I'm not sure if this is something I would personally do, but it's definitely an idea in this matchup, given that you get bronze and you can use bronze to kind of try and counter that flaming weapons. So flaming weapons does give you, I believe it's 100% bonus damage, so 2 times damage, whereas bronze doesn't quite give you 2 times bonus armor. So it's not quite an even trade where that's concerned, but you do get restoration as well to help out, so you can kind of make it somewhat of a even trade at the end there, as the army of Kvoth pushing around. The big, well, not a big problem, but a problem here for Kvoth is that he doesn't have any raiding cavalry in this army, and he needs an answer for the Hypaspis at some point, as the Rapl units in here to defend. Kvoth going to have to decide, does he kill off some villagers? He gets one villager there for free, can retreat back, take no damage there. Nice play as the walls continuing to come up, and Kvoth still trying to push in, but somehow Rapl is actually hitting, well, not somehow, Rapple's been on hump for the most part of this game, so he gets the 2 town center up, he gets the heroic age first, and Kvoth here is going to have to be very, very careful, as he's going to be going to the next age. He needs to get a town center up as he's going to this next age. I think this is the biggest thing for Kvoth to be thinking about in this point, is get that second town center, get it fast, because you need it as the dwarves coming over. You really can't stay 1 town center in this position, because you don't have the economy to you might be able to win a fight or 2, but you won't have the economy to compete here as Loki. You need that town center at this point to be in a decent position. As the wall's coming up over here, I like this play. This is going to be protecting the gold mine. Really important just to have that 1 unit back as Norse, to be getting yourself walls, to be getting yourself more longhouses, and all the other good stuff. But still no town center up for Kvoth. Does make me worried here for Kvoth moving forward. He might be going for a Mythic Age, and you can make the Mythic Age off of 1 town center work here, but this gold mine, super defensive here. Rapl can put up a fortress here as well at some point, or he could put a fortress up over on this position and try and defend that. Lots of options to defend here for Rapl as Kvoth tries to break down this wall yet again. The villager's going to move forward and get that repair action happening as Kvoth sneaks in with his Hersa and attempted a bit of a ghost building there from Rapl, but the villagers here going to be feeling a little bit of pain as this wall gets broken down, and as the opening does come in, still more of those ghost buildings coming in to try and let him in here, as he almost picks off another villager, but pulling back here. And it does look like Kvoth is indeed going for a fast mythic. The question is, does he go tier or does he go for hell here? Tier gives him that economic advantage, but you miss out on the fire giants, whereas Nidhogg, you've got to get some value out of that, or hell, you've got to get some value out of that Nidhogg. Whether or not you can remains to be seen. As I mean, there is some very, very difficult, but easy but difficult ways to defend against Nidhogg. I said it already, but Fortress is really, really good against Hell on your gold mines, because it means that when the Nidhogg comes to raid, at least you're getting damage done onto that Nidhogg, and you can garrison the villagers on it. And you can put a fortress here, you can put a fortress here, you can put a market down, start a trade route, all the good stuff can happen there. As Kvoth now able to advance, he's got the market. He absolutely needs a town center here. There's no way you just stay. Well, there's the town center coming up on the front. All right, fantastic. At least he's gotten that one down here as the temple coming up on the front as well. And he's going to be able to start pumping those fire giants out. 86 favor in the bank. He hasn't built a single myth unit here thus far. Thanks for the prime, Injus. Appreciate you for the support there, my friend. As Kvoth getting that temple up. As I said, no myth units have been built just yet for Kvoth, so it's going to be a lot of fire giants here, which will be tough for Rapl to deal with. We've seen this before in some Zeus versus Loki matchups where even though Zeus has got access to the Bellerophon, who's a great myth unit killer, because Loki has got the Herster and potentially Raining Cavalry, that Bellerophon has a lot less success than he would normally have against, say, like a civilization that is going for more throwing axemen, or not just throwing axemen, but like archers, projectile units, because he can run in, get that jump off, run out, and he's completely fine. As Rapl now pushing up, or Kvoth now pushing up to find these villagers on this hunt here. Going to get a little bit of damage done. The army chasing that one away. It's going to be tough to get out of here. This is all walled off, and this could potentially be a bit of a problem for Kvoth as he's pushing through onto this position here. But Hephaestus is now on the way for Rapl, and Rapl is getting closer and closer to a position where life gets very tough for the Loki. Life gets very tough for the Loki, but we'll see how things are going to go as the Nidhogg is dropping down onto this position here, going to be attempting to get some damage done. The thing is here that the Nidhogg actually has got a lot of crush damage, and he can pick off these farms incredibly fast if you really want to, and I think splash damage could potentially kill off like 2 farms at once. Could be a good idea there. As the villagers retreating away on this position, the throw and axeman going to be pushing forward. It's 20 villager differential here, but the villagers are going to be getting run off of their resources for a lot of this late game or early late game here. So life's still going to be a little bit decent for Kvoth as he's continuing along. He's got good walls up, but he needs to continue getting these walls up all across the map here as he's getting the pressure on to prevent any sort of counterplay coming into this game for Rapl as the Nidhogg retreats away from this Odysseus. The one Odysseus here gets a lot of damage onto the Nidhogg, but the Nidhogg can retreat away and stay away from that Odysseus as Kvoth can take that one down. We do see the throw and axeman coming in here for Kvoth. Probably doesn't need to be building these in all honesty, but if he is, he definitely needs to be getting himself medium infantry, getting himself heavy infantry and all the other good stuff, as we do see that Plenty Vault getting dropped down on this position. Meanwhile, over here, Dwarves going to be finishing up with that Caribou. They can jump onto that large gold mine if they so choose, but Rapl hasn't been able to get a single little bit of damage done in this game. As the military academy getting taken down, this Ulfsark over here ready to get himself a 3rd town center. Remember, Rappel's only on 2 town centers. He's lost some villagers here. The military academy is going down, preventing that heavy infantry from coming in for a little bit here. As look at those fire giants. They are scary here. You can't go close to these fire giants because they're just going to absolutely toast this army of Rapl. Rapl also getting himself Olympic parentage to help out his heroes here in this game. Lots of villagers on the favor for the time being as Bronze gets thrown down here. Kvoth doesn't need to fight this. He needs to find himself a nice choke point, like right in here would be beautiful, or right in here would be beautiful, just to stay nice and far away from this army. He can click flaming weapons if he so chooses. We do see a cheeky little raid coming through here, going to stop that town center from going up. Potentially, is this town center going up over here as well? Let's look at that. I missed it, but the damage from those fire giants coming through and just taking down so many units. But now Bellerophon is here. Rapl might be able to make something happen in this fight. Though, we'll see how things are going to go as the Fire Giants pushing forward, getting a little bits of damage done. Town Center will come up for Rapl. And this is what I was talking about before. You had the Hersa over here. Could have put a wall here, could have put a wall here, could have put a wall here, and would have put a stop to any sort of these raids on this gold mine, put a stop to this Town Center getting stolen. And this could have been a much better position for Kvoth to be in. But he didn't manage to do that. And now Kvoth is in a challenging position here, because he's now got to deal with this town center. So he can move up there and deal with that. It's now the Bellerophon raids are coming in. If Rapl can get this Bellerophon around onto this position, he can utilize that jump special. It does 100 hack damage. I'm pretty sure it one hits these, basically one hits the dwarves. If not, he can obviously kill it afterwards as the Odysseus gets sniped down there. And the question is right now, where is Rapl getting gold from? And the answer is just really not getting gold from all too many places, and he hasn't put up that fortress yet. So this Nidhogg can fly around and just get some crazy amounts of damage done as the Bellerophon does turn around, gets a little bit of damage here as the Hephaestus can clean up these units. The Bellerophon here just distracting for the time being as the army still moving around. Kvoth still holding on to his flaming weapons here in this game. I'm not sure when he's going to be using it, but it's going to come in and be a bit of a problem there as those villagers all get absolutely demolished there by that Fire Giant special. as the Throw and Axeman going after the town center here. Champion Throw and Axeman, or medium, or champion infantry, excuse me, has come through here for Kvoth, as the town center is starting to go down. The Bellerophon going to be moving through here, and flaming weapons will need to get utilized, as immediately the Throw and Axeman targeting this one down, but he needs to go after the units here, as the Bellerophon going to be coming back in. Restoration getting utilized there by Rapl as well, but the Bellerophon gets smoked there by those Throw and Axemen beautifully, as the Fire Giant's going to clean everything up on this position, it seems like, with that flaming weapons. But the Havaspis are onto these Throw and Axemen, getting a decent amount of damage here, so it's actually, in the end, it's a pretty decent trade for the Rapl here, as it looks like Kvoth's still at full population. He's pushing through onto this position. He takes some villagers down off of that gold mine. The army over here still fighting nicely, it seems, but it kind of looks like in the end the Rapl army, he doesn't quite win, but he trades decently. He trades decently here. Bronze weapons, bronze mail, bronze shields coming through here for Rapl, as Kvoth is going to have to think about how he's going to be getting his own armory upgrades in this game. Kvoth doesn't need to kill this town center off. I think this is the big thing here. I mean, he's got the town center at half HP, so he might be able to. If he continues sending units up here, he should be fine to take the town center down, but he doesn't need to. He can actually push down and kill this town center off, which would do considerably more damage, but also picking this one off is going to be a great position for Kvoth to be in. As, I mean, what is going on here for Kvoth? He's got a decent amount of military buildings up. He's still building those Fire Giants. He's still building these Throwing Axemen here. I wouldn't mind seeing some raiding cavalry or some Jarls coming through here. As the town center falls, Kvoth will be able to grab himself this town center here in the near future, and this Nidhogg can keep going raiding, especially over onto this position. Hitting that gold mine over there would be a really, really big way to continue in this game, and continuing to put pressure onto this gold mine here is going to be the secret, the ticket to success here for Kvoth, is just continuously hitting those gold mines, as the military academy going to be getting taken out over here. Havaspis popping out as well, as the Norse army here for Kvoth now claiming the 4-2 town center advantage. But we know very well, and we're very aware that a town center here for Kvoth does not mean he's going to be winning this game, because look at this. Gold mine over here, gold mine over here. That's kind of it. He could potentially secure this gold mine here, but Kvoth also needs to set up a trade route here, which is going to be tough because he's spending a lot of resources on his army at the moment. He's getting a lot of his resources onto this onto these Hursa. Lots of food there. Iron Shields coming through for Rapl. Probably not the most important of upgrades at this point, because there's not really any pierce damage coming through from Kvoth's army, but he's going to be getting that one in nonetheless, so he can defend himself against some buildings. As the army of Kvoth pushing up into this position, Kvoth can put some walls up here and really start quartering the map into his position, into his possession there, as the army pushes forward here, gets a little bit of damage, pulling away from that Bellerophon. I think he should just focus on taking that one down and just calling it a day here, but he doesn't want to take the fight just yet. His army not quite in position where that's concerned. I keep moving over here, seeing this Katoskopos moving back and forth on that gold mine, but nothing really happening there. As Kvoth now getting himself flight control, he's got a huge villager advantage. But you do have to remember that while it's 180 to 130 population, Rapl can get himself fortified town center, go up to 140 population. Plus he's got plenty vault, which technically sits him at 150 population. So it's only a 30 population differential, and that's the difference in kind of villager difference here. So army-wise, things could go a little bit difficult. Could be a little bit difficult for Kvoth here to actually end this game. So he still has to play this one at an incredibly high level, as the Fire Giants pushing forward, Rapl pulling away. He's still going to be in that spread formation as the Bellerophon jumps forward, going to be taking out those Fire Giants beautifully here. Kvoth not paying attention to his army, but the Ursa are going to take down a couple of villagers over here. All of those Fire Giants falling is absolutely huge here as the Nidhogg pulling away. There's not really any ranged units over here. I'm not sure where he's going where that's concerned. Still no effort to make any sort of raiding cavalry unit units here as Kvoth here. He's got 0 armory upgrades. He's only now starting the copper weapons upgrade. He's only got 1 armory as well. Definitely getting 2 armories down and just trying to pump those armory upgrades up would be a really, really smart way to play here as a hill fort comes down onto this position. A hill fort comes down onto this position. Kvoth is trying to solidify his position here, but can he actually manage to do it? Because this army of Rapl is just incredibly strong. There is a gigantic timing coming through with Iron Mail coming in. Does Rapl have himself... yes, he does. Rapl does have iron weapons. There's a gigantic timing coming in here for Rapl, having literally tier 3 upgrades against 0 upgrades for Kvoth. His units will not be doing any damage here as the army pushes through. The army of Kvoth coming up onto this position to try and help out. He's lost all of those really, really important fire giants here. If he can kill off that Odysseus, maybe, just maybe, that Nidhogg can help out as the Bellerophon pushes in, takes down another fire giant here as the army of Kvoth still a little bit lost here, pushing forward. We do see the Hersir popping out, going to be able to take down that Colossus incredibly quickly as the Nidhogg flying back in, going to get a little bit of damage done here, but the Nidhogg 200 HP going down pretty slowly here, retreating away yet again as Kvoth cannot take this fight. He needs armory upgrades of some sort, but Rapl going to be pulling back for the time being. One option here for Rapl would be to set this wall back up, get some Patroclus in onto this position and start sieging that town center over there as well. While this is all going on, could be a really, really difficult thing for Kvoth to defend against as Masons coming through, Watchtowers coming through, still not getting those armory upgrades. Serious mistakes coming in. We do see the Ulsark in the, still a Skraeling here in the corner, ready to put that market down and start that trade route, as well as a Longhouse trying to come up to defend this position. Town Center getting some good damage. Another Fire Giant getting sniped here by this Bellerophon, but a Fire Giant spawn here, going to come in and get some decent damage done onto those Toxotes as he kills off so strong. The Fire Giant is so absurdly strong, but it does get taken out there. Champion Archers coming through for Rapl as well as the Nidhogg flies back in, but it will get removed from the map there as it finally gets taken out. Rapl is in a great position. He's got this gold mine. He needs to get a town center as the next port of call. If he can kill this one off, he's going to be able to be just winning this game. Kvoth here, 180 population at this moment. Bronze weapons coming in. Longhouse is getting thrown down. More units pushing up onto this position here. This gold mine is all that Rapl has. He's starting up the market. He's going to get that trade route happening. Can he get this gold mine secured? The gold is running out for Kvoth, though. This is the problem for Kvoth. He's got himself 1,500 gold in the bank. If he can get up to fully upgraded units here, he will be able to fight, or at least get up to bronze here. As Architects coming through as well, really trying to hold on to these town centers. The market's starting. He's got this this market here as well that he can pump those trade caravans out from as the units pushing back in. I like this play, getting that Silver Colossus back in here. Town Center going to be getting taken down. But this Town Center is getting a lot of damage. It's 40 damage a second with all of those units in it. As the Huskarl popping out, going to be able to take down those Toxotes. Where are the Dwarves? Pushing onto wood here. Going to be able to sell that wood, I guess, to keep himself alive here. As the Fire Giant coming in, going to get some good damage done. And the arrows here taking down those Huskarl nicely, and it looks like Kvoth is able to make a decent trade here. Obviously, Rapl are going to be sitting fairly consistently at that full population, though more units pushing through. Colossus is going to be eating a tree there to stay alive here. Again, a fortress on this forward position for Rapl would not go astray, but he is struggling for gold on this position as Kvoth looks like he is kind of winning this fight, but still very low on the upgrades. He's only got bronze weapons. Copper mail now starting to come in. That's going to be a big help. Silver Colossus here eating the large gold mine will be giving a lot of favor over to these Hersir as he does manage to take that one out. But no more myth unit spawns, and it does look like Kvoth has managed to hold here. Kvoth needs to ensure that he walls this up now. He needs to get himself a very, very safe trade route. This is something that Norse players in general forget, is that the late game is won and lost by by like being in control of the game. And how do you prevent your opponent from getting these sneaky attacks? Well, walls here, walls over here, walls over here, and just ensure that your opponent can't just sneak a villager in for a side build. That is the hardest part about playing the Norse late game, is ensuring your opponent can't manage to make that happen, as the Hersa are going to be leaving this position. Hitting this gold mine is going to be gigantic here for Kvoth. Getting up a hill fort on this position is going to be equally gigantic as well, as the villagers pushing forward. Kvoth has got 0 gold in the bank, which means life is tough for him, as the army now pushing around onto this town center, going to try and change the field of battle as the villagers get pushed over here. Longhouse is getting thrown down onto this position. There's still about 2,600 gold left there. The army pushing through. Rapl's also got 0 gold here, so a little bit of a decent trade here for Kvoth is going to go a really, really long way, as that wood is getting closer and closer to being worth very, very little here, as the Bellerophon coming back in will be able to take out those naked fire giants there, as there's nothing to help take out the Bellerophon. Lots of damage coming in as the side builds coming through from Kvoth. I'm not sure exactly how important this is at the moment for him, but just getting up a wall here to prevent the trade round, prevent that gold mine from getting grabbed is kind of all he needs over there. Defending this position is going to be everything, but it does look like he's doing a fantastic job here, as Carpenter's coming through for Rapl here very, very late, but that's going to be a big, big help for him. Kvoth at this point really doesn't need 96 villagers. This is the problem. This is why Rapl is getting so much mileage out of his army here. Kvoth's got way too many villagers, but he still doesn't have himself the economy to get himself fully upgraded units here. So, I mean, what do you do? Do you leave the villagers there and just sit at 180 population, not really being able to defend, or do you tone down the villagers or something there? I'm not 100% sure. We do see the gold mine still naked over here, and look at this. Rapl smartly making his way up here. We have to remember that Kvoth is completely fine here to not have this gold mine, but taking this gold mine away from Rapl is really, really big here. Because, well, Kvoth's already got 25 trade caravans in this game. As the villagers on this position pushing forward, the Hersa are going to get some good damage done up here. The trade route still not started. You could start a trade route from back here up to this town center, for example. Wouldn't be an awful idea, as we see the storehouse coming up onto this position. And bronze mail now coming through for Kvoth. At some point, we're going to have to see like the Ulfsarks moving forward. And we see, look at this. I love this play. Come through, take this gold mine away from Rapl as well, as the villagers getting taken out over here. Hersa getting some good damage done. Colossus going to be taking down the longhouses on this position as well, as Kvoth starting to make the move up to the top position. Iron shields now coming through, as finally those iron armory upgrades are going to be making their way in onto this game. The town center, however, is in for a little bit of a challenge here, with 3 silver colossi coming in to take this one down incredibly fast, even with the architect's upgrade. The Thrown Axeman Huskal popping out here. Hersa coming through to try and take out these units here as fast as he can, but he's not repairing the town center at all. Town center will end up falling here. Fenris Wolfbrood not going to be helping in the slightest at this moment, and now Kvoth has lost the town center. He's got himself iron mail, iron shields. Will Rapl be able to get this town center up, or will Kvoth make that Ulfsark Ragnarok happen here, as the villagers coming back onto this position? Lots and lots of resources in the bank here for Kvoth. He has to do it. There we go. There's the Ulfsark Ragnarok coming in, going to be taking these units down. The villagers trying to get this position up as fast as he possibly can here. Iron Mail coming in. Hall of Valhalla coming in just that little bit late, though, as these Ulfsark only 116 HP. Town Center on the way here. Can Kvoth hold this position or not? Villagers getting absolutely massacred on this front here, but the Ulfsark are also getting cleaned up very, very quickly by those champion Toxotes. Kvoth needs to trim his army down even more, send more of these villagers through. He doesn't need this many villagers on the food in the slightest here, as the Hersa trying desperately to take out these Silver Colossus, just not able to do so fast enough as the hill fort falls. Town Center getting closer and closer to finishing up here. The game's not over just because Rapl gets this town center up, but it becomes considerably harder here for Kvoth to hold on, as he's not able to win these fights here. More Ulfsark are coming through. Kvoth needs raiding cavalry. We've been saying it for ages here. Town center is now up for Rapl. He doesn't have a trade route still, though, so there is still a way to continue to hit this gold mine. Fortress up now, though, for for Rapl. Rapl immediately popping up to 160 population here. So much economy for Kvoth here. Iron weapons, mithril breastplate coming through as well. He cancels the mithril breastplate for the time being there, as Kvoth's just got so much economy at this point. But there's so much army for Rapl. He's only got 70 villages here, so it's like, I don't know, I can't do math, but like 90 population-ish of army here versus, I guess, like 40 population, I don't know, 60 population of army for Kvoth, 50 population of army for Kvoth. So he's just not able to take these fights easily in the slightest. We'll see if Kvoth is ever going to trim this army down, or this economy down, as he's just pushing up to infinite amounts of resources here. You can always rebuild the economy when things go well for you, as the gold getting built up. Rapl going to be able to start that trade route at any point here. Fire Giant getting some good damage done, but the heroes are pushing in and cleaning that up too well there. More units just popping out of these buildings over here. There is a possibility for Ballister, but in all honesty, against the Bellerophon, Ballister are not your best friend here. Potentially, like, portable rams at this point aren't a bad idea, especially into this corner over here, as we do see the Herso popping out trying to deal with the Silver Colossus, but Rapl too smart, getting a champion Hypaspist over here to clean up the Herso there, as well as doing a fantastic job there as the Toxotes pushing through here. At some point, we're going to see the trade route get spotted, and Rapl is going to know immediately what to do. I mean, he's already sees it with this Katoskabos here, as the Toxotes going to go after these villages. This is actually doing Kvoth a bit of a service here, picking off the economy, because he really doesn't need that in the slightest, especially on this position with the Ox Cart there, taking up even more population. As the Herso coming through onto this spot here, trying to take these units down. That was a weird lag spike. I'm not sure what's going on there. But the Longhouse getting cleaned up over there. And, oh, one Mountain Giant sneaking through. Can one Mountain Giant kill off a town center with Architects? I mean, he doesn't have Architects. He's got Masons. I don't think it can. Maybe it can? I don't know. I've got no idea. But the question is, will Rapl spot that or not? As these units coming through, cleaning up all of these military buildings, these long houses on that position there. And Kvoth does retreat back onto this position. He's got full upgrades. He's now trimmed his economy down. He's only got about 80 villages on his economy. That should be enough for him to start taking some decent fights here if he can get everyone involved. Did he actually end up getting Mithril Breastplate? No. He wanted to get himself more Fire Giants instead. It is like 10 favor, so somewhat expensive where that's concerned. And in a way, you don't really want to build Ulfsark unless you've got Berserker Gang, which is something that Kvoth could have done, but he probably wouldn't be in as good of a position if he did do that. Burning Pitch, stone walls coming through as well for Kvoth. Burning Pitch is for the potential Ballister to take out a town center here. As the Huskar popping out, going to attempt to take down these units as well. And still, we are seeing Kvoth now getting the walls up to try and defend himself. Walls here, and walls down the bottom as well is going to be a good way to make this work and keep himself alive. As the trade route now starting for Rapl. Rapple's finished up this gold mine. He's got this gold mine over here. And, the Colossus is eating the gold mine. One Herso sneaking into the corner here for Kvoth to get up a longhouse or something to put some pain onto this trade route of Rapl is going to be absolutely gigantic. And one thing to really remember here is that when we get to the late game, the score is irrelevant. The score is absolutely irrelevant. All that matters in the late game is town centers, trade route stability. Those are the important things. Score doesn't really matter. So long as you've got, villager count also matters as well. So those things are things to keep an eye on. We can kind of even turn this off and just ignore that as the longhouse is coming up in this corner here. We do see Rapl has spotted this one. And the army of Rapl searching around here. He's got an inkling that something is going on in this corner. And the question is, how many military buildings can Kvoth actually get up here? And the answer is not really that many. There's engineers, weapons of the Titans coming through. Remember, there was still this big forest here, which is a problem for Kvoth. Some Petropolis here to come out, or Petropoli here to come out and take out this hill fort, control this position, and start sieging this town center is going to be a really challenging thing for Rapl to deal with. And also, Rapl is going to be putting some pressure up onto this position as well that Kvoth needs to somehow defend against. How is he going to defend this town center against the Colossus? Obviously, Herser, a great idea. He can build Frost Giants as well, which might be the better late game unit choice rather than the Fire Giant. Reason being is one Frost Giant kills off 5 population of Heliopolis, 5 population of Gold Colossus, and only costs, is it 4 population? I can never remember. It costs 5 population. So you can trade a Frost Giant for a Gold Colossus in terms of population. It's completely fair and reasonable there in the late game. Very, very important to be having that happen. Kvoth's got plenty of favor, plenty of resources. Can trim that food down even more. Honestly, in a way, if you're 160 population Norse, you can kind of go down to about 20 villages on food. You don't need any on wood because you can just go like mass food units like Herser, raiding cavalry, maybe build a couple, maybe have a couple on wood. So maybe go like 25 to 30 villages on or gatherers, actual gatherers, and the rest on ox caravans, and you can have the rest in army, and you can support that because that's just how the economy kind of works. As the Herser coming in through, trying to take out the Gold Colossus, this Heliopolis is causing some big problems over here for Kvoth. He does manage to finish off this one as well. Loki don't have Frost Giant. He's got Frost Giant. He's gone through hell. You get Frost Giant from going through hell. You get access to all of the myth units. All the giants actually. As Gold Colossus over here. Also, you need that Frost Giant here to clean up this one as well. But it looks like Kvoth here is not quite managing to defend on both sides. He just doesn't. I mean, you can make the case here that it's not fair that Zeus can make this happen, but Zeus needs this economy to make this army come out, whereas Kvoth doesn't need this economy to make his army come out. He's floating 3,000 food, whereas Rapl's not really floating anything. He's floating some wood, so potentially Rapl could trim the wood economy down a little bit. But look at this. The town center here has actually fallen down. I completely missed that. I'm not sure how that happened, how there's units up here getting something done, and Kvoth has managed to push through here. Ballast killing off a town center here, killing off the fortress over here as well. We do see some raids coming through onto this trade route as well for Kvoth. Kvoth is still fighting here impeccably well, as Rapl's gold is incredibly low here. Get up the walls over here would be gigantic. More longhouses on this position would be absolutely gigantic, as Rapl, he needs to put a lot of effort into this one. The town center attempting to come back up. The ballasts are in, so long as Kvoth is paying attention on this position, he's going to be able to take this town center out here. Question in the chat, are Jarls any good in this matchup? Of course they are. They're great against the Hypaspis. They're great against the Toxotes. They'd be a well worth building here. And in fact, I've been saying for the most game that Cavalry would be really, really good in this position to force Rapl to build himself some hoplites so that your Thrown Axeman gets some value here, or more value, as the military building is coming up, another temple coming up in this position to spam myth units out here. We see some walls coming up for Rapl to try and defend, as everything going to get cleaned up over there. And obviously, Kvoth is going to be wanting this town center back at some point. Can he manage to make that happen? Red dots kind of all over the map, taking out villages. Rampage coming through as well for Kvoth at this point is going to be a big, big help with that temple coming out. He's going to be able to spam like mountain giants, spam fire giants, spam frost giants, whatever he really wants out whenever he needs it. As this position getting cleaned up here, and this is a big, big weakness here for Kvoth, is his trade route, is this position here. No walls up. Taking this out is a great idea for Rapl, as the baluster, he's probably overbuilt baluster on this position. This is not going to be able to be transferred into multiple different angles. He only really needs a handful here after the town center falls. We'll see, can Kvoth secure this position or not? Meanwhile, over the bottom, still no siege coming in for Kvoth. Kvoth, he's got so many resources. He could have gotten himself, I don't think he's gotten himself medium raiders, heavy raiders, champion raiders here in this game at all. Military Academy getting taken down on this position. We do see the Fire Giants queued up, but a Bellerophon is in here to deal with those kind of, those myth units popping out very, very quickly. And this side build looks like it's been dealt with. And again, like, imagine for a second here, 50, how much is 50? I can't quite do that math here at the moment, but imagine converting all of these Ulfsark into all these villages into Ulfsark and just bum rushing this position to get the town center up, and then and then rebuilding your villager economy. I feel like, well, you don't even have to do it all. Just like another 30 of them, just 30 villagers, bam, in onto this to get the town center up. There'd be no way for Rapl to stop that. As we do see some walls coming down over here. Rapl is going to start getting pressured on this town center, it seems, by this ballista potential that's going to be moving forward. One Myrmidon is out, though, to cause some problems over here as the Colossus coming back in onto this position yet again. Can still get Frost Giants out to defend against this if he needs to, but obviously doesn't really want to here. Another cheeky longhouse up in this corner, but the guard towers have got themselves signal fires, which is enough for him to for Rapl to see the entirety of this position. So those red dots are not going to be able to be built up all too easily. Here is the town center getting rebuilt, but one ballast up, all you need to stop the town center from going up. It doesn't do a whole bunch of damage, and that Odysseus is actually doing a ton of damage to those to that ballista. Only 80% pierce armor. Not really a whole lot, as the Odysseus does end up getting sniped down. Town center coming back up yet again. Has some towers coming down here for Rapl to hold on. Meanwhile, the Hypaspis getting cleaned up. Can he stop that town center from coming back up or not? Obviously, Rapl, he wants that one finished. No attempt at moving in over there, and the town center will finish up here. 14 villages there, too much. The ballista here did not manage to get back up onto that one, and the town center cleans up that position. Rapl, he's got all the economy in the world here now. He is in a position that should be completely fine. Obviously, Kvoth can still make this work here with the ballista, but they get cleaned up over here on this position here. The wall's not quite finished up. Can't quite get in to this position just yet. The infantry units sneaking into this corner. Has Rapl here. He does. Oh, there is a small blind spot here. There is a small blind spot. Is the temple going to be coming back up? The towers are going to be preventing that one there for the moment. There is the ballista going after the town center yet again. Cheeky Valkyrie spawn, not going to be that useful there, as this position over here getting broken through yet again. And one Bellerophon coming through, and every Norse player is incredibly sad to see this unit attacking the ballista. With what you can do is, if you get up probably somewhere in the vicinity of like 4 to 5 watchtowers, and whenever the Bellerophon comes in, you target down the Bellerophon with not only your watchtowers but also the ballista. You can potentially kill that one off before he deals too much damage, as the town center is slowly getting taken down here. Meanwhile, over here we do see the Hypaspis still getting built, and Kvoth still refuses to build a single raiding cavalry in this game, a single Ulfjarl. I could be wrong about it. Maybe building, it might not be a good idea. Obviously, there are Myrmidon here. Myrmidon are really, really good. You don't have to like build a ton of them, but just a wave wouldn't go astray. As we do see the temple up over here, a mountain giant or something popping out to kill off this this guard tower, to kill off this position. A wall coming down here as well would not go astray there. As the town center here still getting closer and closer to falling, but so many villagers repairing it here. As the army pushing through over here, still looking for units to kill off. No attempt at a side build through here from Rapl. This has possibly been, I think Rapl is not tried it because he's kind of respecting Kvoth a little bit too much, but just a handful of villagers wandering through here, getting a side build. This could spell game over for Kvoth here in this one. Obviously, I got Omniscience. What does Rapl actually see here? He does know that that's open in terms of the actual map, but he's just going straight for the jugular here, which is also going to be seemingly working. Beast Slayer also coming through for Rapl, which allows his Myrmidon to have about 50% bonus damage against myth units. So that's going to help him clean up those fire giants as well. As the fortress is up, and it looks like Kvoth's position is slowly starting to fall. Kvoth is at full population here. He's still at full population. He's still getting some good damage done up on this spot. He's still getting in over here. We see the walls coming through here as well for Rapl to completely solidify his position there. As some Ulfsark getting trained here, and Kvoth is finally saying, all right, well, what if I make more? What if I have less economy? Is it too little too late for this, though? There's more fire giant coming through here as well. Villagers coming in, going to be taking out the ballista over here, preventing that town center from taking all too much damage. And also Rapl now at this point, he could probably also start toning the villagers down. You only probably, once you're completely solidified in the late game, probably 60 villages are around about the amount you need to support 160 population. And then once you get that 4th town center, you can push up to 80 villages or so. So hill fort coming up over here. Is that mountain giant still queued up? It's still not popped out. This is kind of the problem with auto queue in the late game is you want the unit out, but you can't get it out. You can't choose which unit is prioritized. If you have a unit that's 3 population or 2 population trained up, that's going to come out most of the time, unless you pop down pretty quickly to 155, which is just not happening here for Kvoth. He's just sitting at a solid 160 here. So you have to kind of stop training units in a way to get that mountain giant out. And it would be a really, really big assistance. There's also 2 population kind of sitting idle here for Kvoth, unfortunately. That's the hill fort back up. Kvoth still trying to make this baluster push work up on this position. We do see another baluster over here going to try and break through. Kvoth does have portable rams here as well. Portable rams might not seem like the best of unit, but the advantage of a portable ram over, say, like a siege tower or maybe a fire siphon, I guess, is that they're actually quite a bit faster. They're moving at 3.5 speed, and then also with the draft horses, they come in quite strong. Compare that to like the Heliopolis at 2.9 speed. So they can move in and get attacking much faster. So they can move in a bit easier. So attacking these walls, for example, to break them down before trying to sneak through and get some sort of a side build would not be a bad idea. Like potentially hitting this position, hill fort here, going after this town center would not be a crazy idea here for Kvoth either. Meanwhile, Rapl, again, there's just like openings all over the map for him to sneak in and get buildings down, but he's playing it safe and not going for any kind of YOLO side build plays. As the mountain giant does sneak through, we'll be able to pick off these guard towers here. And if anyone says that Norse doesn't have a siege weapon, this bad boy, he is good. 25 crush damage, 20 hack damage, plus the special ability, which does 45 hack, 360 crush. It's a very, very useful unit to be thrown into the mix here for the siege for Norse. Same too with like your fire giant. It's only got 5 crush, but it's actually 10 crush damage. So there's like a whole bunch of like extra units you can kind of use that aren't just siege weapons for Norse to break through. And we are seeing Kvoth managing to make this work because he's getting the longhouse out. Some Ulfsark getting trained through here would not go astray in order to shut that trade route down. Rappel's got 1,700 gold in the bank, and that does get used up very, very quickly in these fights. As the tower's getting cleaned up over here, and Kvoth, I mean, he's still trying to make it work. He's still sitting with tons and tons of economy in the bank. Cheeky little mountain giant spawn here is going to be a big, big help here, as the walls need to come up here for Kvoth. A wall up here to prevent the buildings from going down. He doesn't need units up on here all too badly. He can just cut down his defense on this position. The Toxotes is getting cleaned up pretty easily here by the fire giants as they're pushing through, getting some good damage done here. As the guard tower gets cleaned up, walls coming down, fortress over here. Not going to be able to get cleaned up by that Hersa. Any attempt here. Now we see the Haspis coming in, and the walls just too slow here for Kvoth, or not even started. But he does get a whole bunch of units out. And the problem is, with these side builds for Loki, is that against Zeus and against Greek in general, is that the Hypaspits cut it down. They stop it immediately in its tracks because you can't build raiding cavalry out of these buildings because they don't build units. So even if you kill off the Hypaspits here, the raiding cavalry don't do anything afterwards. So we'll see if we can get some walls up here. Still building more longhouses. It does distract the units so he can attack elsewhere, as the Gold Colossus over here does end up getting taken down. The Myrmidon starting to put some pressure onto this position here as well, but not quite going to be able to make anything happen. One pretty scary fact here for Kvoth is, at any point here, Rapl can stop building Colossus and make a Titan. And that ends up being the hardest thing to deal with for Loki, for Norse, is that Titan, because it costs half the population to build the Titan out. one very simple way to fix that problem would be to double the speed at which Norse can build a Titan, double the speed at which they build the Titan. It would be a completely fair way, Titan Gate would be a completely fair way to make it work, or allow villagers to build a Titan Gate. Either way would be a way to kind of make this kind of situation a fair situation. It would make Rag Fast Titan kind of strong. Yeah, but Rag Fast Titan is already strong. It's not already strong. It's already a thing that you kind of can't defend against. If it happens, you can't defend against it. So you have to be preventing it more so. Hillfort coming up. I hate that Ragnarok exists. I'm going to go on this rant now. It sucks that whenever you offer a suggestion to how to help Norse out in an actual position which is actually really shit for them, which is this Titan problem, that Ragnarok exists, therefore you can't do it. Alright, rant over. Short rant. Rant over. Rapl just with so many resources is about to get that 50 favor in. Is he still building? He's still building Colossus, so maybe he's not thought about the Titan Gate here. He's got 50 favor. Is he going to get it? No. All right, well. Big raid coming through here with these Ulfsarg. Make some raiding cavalry. Make some throwing axemen. Do something else. Rapl still pushing in. Walls coming through. Petropolis are going to start being able to come out here. And Petropolis are actually decent against these Ballister as well. I think maybe not. Not sure. They probably miss. Get some towers up. Towers. He's got no wood. Can he buy wood? You can buy wood. Buy some wood, get some towers in here, and this will help you defend against these this infantry defense is another way forward. As we see a push through onto this position here from Kvoth. He's kind of putting a lot of population into this, allowing Rapl to set up over here. So this is a bit of a last-ditch effort to some degree from Kvoth. He knows he needs to get in here. He knows he needs to put pressure up onto this position and kill off this town center to find an advantage, because that also shuts the trade route down as these units over here defending nicely. One wall, one tower could be enough to hold here, but still nothing coming up here for Kvoth on that position. Meanwhile, units still through here. The wall's up on this corner here, preventing any sort of defense. Still not pushing through this to get some side builds for himself here for Rapl. I mean, these players here, I mean, they've played so many games of Age of Mythology, but the amount of games that go past the 30-minute mark in Age of Mythology, they're quite few and far between. And I think this series has had a few of them already. So these guys are really getting their taste of the late game and trying to learn, in a way, how to play these positions. But also remember that Kvoth isn't actually Loki. Loki isn't actually Kvoth's main god here. So that does become one thing to remember. He doesn't actually know all of the tricks with the late game for Loki, but he is doing a great job here. Meanwhile, up on this position though, this is scary. This is scary for Kvoth as the towers are getting closer and closer to interacting with this trade route, making the economy of Kvoth become very, very weak. As the army is pushing through here, cleaning up nicely, but there's still plenty of units here for Rapl, and he's going to be able to spam in here indefinitely as a hill fort sneaks up here for Kvoth as well. Raiding cavalry! But medium raiding cavalry. I'm pretty sure the Hypaspists almost... Wait, do they win? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if a champion Hypaspist beats a medium raider. Is he actually building? Yeah, he is. Oh, dear. He's got no resources now. He needs to rebuild some villages on food, retreating back away from this position. Now he's got this position set up. He might be able to break through here. Seeing these towers coming up. Fire Giant is a decent defense here against this, because the Bellerophon is very much out of position there. As these buildings now, they're causing a bit of a population challenge for the Rapl. 10 population over here. A couple of units popping out. Again, like a wall and a tower in this corner would be such a big thorn in Rapl's side there. There's this fire giant. Very, very smartly defending that position there. Kvoth is trying to build himself up a handful of villagers to help him out here, it seems. He's still sitting at a solid 160 population, and he can buy food for a little bit. There's the army popping out over here for Kvoth. Just trying to drag Rapl's attention all over the place. And somehow, some way Kvoth is defending this. Generally, I think when people go Zeus versus Loki, like late game, well, yeah, Zeus just wins. It's just impossible to play. But somehow, Kvoth is making it work. Well, at least surviving here for the time being. Rapl is way, way, way over economized here. There's this kind of ebb and flow of a way in the late game where if you can drop your villagers down to 20, push it back up to 40, to 60, push it back down to 20, and like whenever you're starting to float resources, you can kind of make that happen. Obviously, it's scary to do that, but it works. It works. Just send all the villagers forward, shank down the thing. We do see these villagers coming in here for Kvoth. He might be. What's he doing? You don't have the resources to make this work, my friend. Oh, he's gone for this forest. There's no forest left on the map. There's this forest over here, which would have been safe, but losing all these villagers is not ideal here for Kvoth in the slightest. But he is pushing in. He's still getting some good damage done over here, but Rapl's still got 2,000 gold in the bank, and Rapl just deletes his market. Does he have a market elsewhere? He's got a market over here, so now we can just move that market and trade, but arguably even better up onto this position. As the town center over here falls, and Kvoth is now down to 2 town centers. Siege of the Titans coming through as well for Rapl in this position. And Kvoth has not been able to muster the defense on this position, as all these hill forts are going to fall as well. The fire giant going to be falling. The army does manage to claim this corner, but he hasn't claimed the entirety of the side of the map, so it doesn't even matter. But the fire giant's now pushing in to trade onto this town center. Rapl might lose this town center as well here, but as always, the hardest part for Norse in the late game is to rebuild the town center, because you need to put so much more population into getting that one up that your opponent and your opponent doesn't really need to do that themselves. But there's a whole bunch of units over here for Kvoth. He's going to break through this this gate here. Look at that fortified gate. 1,850 HP. Takes forever to kill there. As the fire giant's going to clean up the fortress over here. Town center coming up on this position as well here for Rapl. That's going to most likely come up before Kvoth can even break through on this position to get in to grab that town center there. As the hill fort over here going to get cleaned up. Town center coming back up for Rapl. No way to stop that one. No units on this position as the army. He's got himself 7 throwing axemen, 5 Ulfsark. Can he get this town center up and continue in this game? But Secret of the Titans is through now for Rapl, which means Ouchtown, population, Kvoth is coming. There's no way for Kvoth to afford a Titan Gate in this game. He just can't. He doesn't have the villagers. He doesn't have the favor. And even if he does get it, he won't have the population to get it up fast enough. There's the raiding cavalry coming through. And it does look like Kvoth might be able to get this town center up in the end here. But the problem here is that with Rapl controlling this position, Rappel's going to want to control this entire area, which means he's going to realize he can just push through and hit this trade route beautifully there. So the Titan Gate starts, villagers coming over here. He can literally bring every one of his villagers here, all 50, well, probably like 30 villagers to get this Titan up incredibly fast. As the Colossus making its way over here. Not going to be able to get through that because the Fire Giant's just getting that little bit too much damage done. There's all these buildings going down, and Kvoth is about to be in a big, big world of hurt. What can he do to kill off a Titan? How does a Norse player deal with a Titan? Well, he's got Herser. He's got Ballister. He can just distract around the map with like Mountain Giant raids, for example, onto town centers and things like that. And potentially hold by doing enough distraction action. As the Colossus sneaking through onto this position here, you will be spotting that this is completely open. And any sort of push through there is going to be incredibly tough to stop. Meanwhile, the pressure coming back up onto this position. Kvoth is really, really low. Only 12 villages remaining for Kvoth. He is in a very, very difficult position here. He's got plenty of gold, but in this position, 55 minutes, 46 seconds into the game, he does decide to tap out as Rapl defended for too long, too well here in this game, and Kvoth just could not convert. What a game here. It's back and forth, ebbs and flows. Incredibly well played by both players here, you have to admit. Kvoth here not utilizing... I think the biggest mistake here from Kvoth was not utilizing the Frost Giant. The Frost Giant with Granite Blood, this technology that comes through here, 200 extra giant hit points, effectively makes it a... what do you call it? A Rhyme upgraded Frost Giant. It's 2 HP difference. I think it's 2 HP difference in the advantage for the Granite Blood Frost Giant. But you get that one out. You stop the Colossus from doing anything. Colossus stop being a unit that can be built because they just sit there not doing anything. Population advantage for the Norse player, even though it's an equal trade. It's population advantage for the Norse player for reasons. And you can kind of fight here in this position and find defenses and find advantages. But Kvoth here just wanted the Fire Giants. Could not quite make the defense happen. Could not quite make the economy work here, and could not close Rapl out of this game here. There was this moment. It was like a moment of maybe like 30 seconds where I think if Kvoth had walls, I think he would have won this game. If he had walls up on this gold mine over here, he'd pushed off of this gold mine. If he'd walled this off, the villagers wouldn't have been able to get in onto this position and get this gold mine. And Kvoth would have been able to mine out even more of this gold with his own villagers. And Rapl probably would have gotten gold starved. And this game would have been over at like 20 minutes into this game. But unlucky there. Rapl gets the win. Luckily for Kvoth, he does have that life. He's going to go into the losers bracket here to fight whoever in the losers bracket and continue in this tournament. Rapl moving on to the next stage. Technically, that would be the semi-finals here. So congratulations to him. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.